please, for Mr. Declan McGurk.
Here we go. Not part of the show. If someone can just do a little bit of pushing for me, I'm going to start. Once upon a time, in a galaxy not so far away, there was a race. The red Soviet Union against the star-spangled banner of the United States of America, fighting it out for space supremacy. Yuri Gagarin gives a significant lead. Then, in 1969, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, as the crew from Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and Neil Armstrong took that step onto the moon. Back in London, darling, from the corner of the American bar, Joe Gilmore, the head bartender, the Irish head bartender, was standing there. And Eric, you'll agree there's a very nice view of the moon from the corner of the bar. And he was looking up at the moon on the screen. And he could see that flag, and he was inspired. And he created the Moonwalk cocktail. This cocktail was then sent to NASA. Let's see if this button works for me. No. Am I pressing the wrong button?
The green one.
Yeah, that looks pretty green to me. There we go. He sends the cocktail to NASA, and then upon returning to Earth's atmosphere, the crew from Apollo 11 enjoy this cocktail. And the letter on your screen sits very proudly in the Savoy Museum. And that letter is a letter, of course, from Neil Armstrong, saying thank you very much for the cocktail created by Joe Gilmore and sent for their enjoyment. Now, the philosophy, though, to think about this and the really deep-rooted thought processes, imagine how many likes on Facebook that would have got. Never mind Instagram. Hello, my name is Declan. I'm here to shout at you. I've traveled over from London, and I'm here talking about storytelling and engagement. And I think that let's have a little think about why storytelling is important. Well, number one, it creates press. Number two, it creates word of mouth. Pretty important. Number three, it creates enjoyment. Now, those are things that should not be overlooked. And I'm sure that all the bar people will agree, sometimes we maybe do lose focus on those. Let's have a little think about the bar experience. Say, let's compare it to drinking to dining. I think that they are very, very different experiences. Biologically, of course, you have to eat. Biologically, you don't have to drink alcohol. Although right now, if anyone provides a mezcal or a beer, I'd be very happy about that scenario. So there is, and that's not a joke, I'd be very happy about that. So there is a very defined difference between the two. Your experience is different. What you are selling is different as well, because we have to think about the important aspect for the guest. And working in the drinks business, I believe that you are not selling drinks. You are selling service. That is your product. That is what you are selling. And as such, we are a team of salespeople. And if you think you are not, well, then you are probably not going to be successful, because you have to sell that service. A lot of bartenders can get caught up. Maybe they'll get caught up watching a rotovap. Maybe they'll get caught up trying to incorporate Muyu liqueur by Alex Cretena in a cocktail. They can get caught up on many different things. But what is very, very important to think about is the fact that you are selling service. Now, back to the word storytelling and the origins of storytelling. Do we have any parents in the room? Okay, I know. Anyone else? Anyone else? Good. How old? 6 years old, a boy or a girl? A girl, what's her name? Phoenix, what a beautiful name. Now, does Phoenix like it if you tell her a story? That's interesting. As William mentioned, I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to come back to Phoenix. As William mentioned, I had the great success in December of breaking my spine. And what that gave me was a little period of reflection. It also gave me an opportunity to lie in a bed. It also gave me an opportunity to read. I was very focused and alternating between fact and fiction. The winner of the list of books I read was Dracula, a great read, thoroughly recommend it. But the greatest thing was being a dad. I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old daughter. 3-year-old daughters, yeah, you get it. And I was there every single bath time, every single bedtime, and I was reading to them. And like Phoenix, Tamsin and Imogen loved me reading. They loved the stories, because the fact of the matter is, storytelling is ingrained in at your origins. It is a part of your start. It's one of the most important things that you are taught to enjoy. So thus, relating that to what we sell, which will ultimately make us money, I think is an essential part of working in a bar. So, also though, from there, let's see if this whole thing works. From storytelling, we then have to think about engagement and how you engage and what you do with your product. And I think engagement for me relates to menus. And this is your opportunity to bring storytelling and engagement to the guest. Now, as I say that, maybe the real classic lovers out there thinks, oh, here he goes, he's going to talk about doing all these original cocktails. Well, let's remember about classics. The reason they're classics is because they've got a story behind them too. And also, I believe if you do launch an empire of themed menus and interesting drinks, well then, you should be armed also to make and have the same attention on your classic cocktails as you do your original drinks. Now on to where I work in the American bar at the Savoy, and our approach to menus. Really, we had a look at ourselves. Eric and myself in particular, Eric should really, I suppose, be stood next to me because we were virtually married for a few years. And we really looked at maybe how we weren't doing things as well as we possibly could. We were getting very, very bored of watching Alex go on a stage and pick up awards. And what we thought was to really refocus on how we can bring our stories to the guests. So on this slide here, you've got a few illustrations of some menus. In the top left and bottom left, you've got our London menu. Jim, you're fine to look on that screen there as well. Our London menu, which explored London, and it took all the little stories that London as a city has and converted them to cocktails. We even made a silent movie. Then on the right-hand side of the screen, you've got a coast-to-coast journey, which what we tried to do with the drinks there was, as well as take inspiration from different parts of Britain and turn that into cocktails, also look at the cultures and the characters of the country and try and tell that story and deliver that to the guest. Of late and recently, and I'm looking at the clock and I'm running a little bit over, of late and recently, we took the photos that are around the room of the American bar and we turned that into a menu. And at which stage, I would say this is a good cue for that little video we've got lined up. just to finish with one line, you do not get long time with the guest. So maybe try and turn the guest into the storyteller. And I'll leave that thought with you. Thank you.